Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. Many thanks to the organizers for inviting us to talk about the work that we do today within the NIHR BioResource, but specifically within the rare disease study. So we are a national recallable bioresource. Our mission is to facilitate human health research and its transformation into clinical practice. And we do that by providing an infrastructure for rapidly identifying, contacting, and recalling volunteers stratified by genotype and or phenotype. So we are NIHR funded, meaning that we only have sites in England. You can see on the map there are 13 local bioresource centers spread across England, several of them in London, but also in other major cities such as Newcastle, Exeter, or Birmingham. So all of these sites recruit into the study, but in addition, we have over 200 clinical teams across the country also recruiting into the study. We are currently approved at over 50 NHS trusts and have over 60 rare disease projects open and recruiting, all focusing on a different rare disease. And to date, we have approximately 20,000 volunteers within our records that can be recalled for future projects and studies. So our work is based on two stages. We have stage one, which is the recruitment stage. So most of our recruitment happens during clinical appointments. During this stage, we of course obtain consent of the volunteer. We collect their contact information and some personal details. By consenting, they allow us to have access to their medical records, and we collect biological samples. In most cases, this will be a blood sample. In some cases, a saliva sample. Then in stage two involves the recall of these volunteers based on genotype and or phenotype to take part in research studies or clinical trials that can be based anywhere in the UK. So this is particularly relevant for studies with complex requirements, complex genotyping, phenotyping requirements, as well as any studies looking into rare diseases, of course. To mention here is that these studies will require separate ethical approval before we can contact the volunteers on their behalf. So our volunteers, which are mainly patients, but also do include some healthy volunteers, one, they consent to the bioresource. They've provided a blood sample, so we will have stored DNA, plasma, and serum. If they've provided a saliva sample, we will only have stored DNA. We will have some clinical information on these volunteers because we will have a clinical report form completed for all of them. This information is provided to us from the clinical team, and this is specific for each condition, of course. As mentioned before, they've agreed for us to have access to the health records. So any information that could be required at a later date can be obtained. And we will have genomic information on them. In most cases, this will be high density array. We don't really have whole exome sequencing info for our rare participants, but we do have approximately 11,000 volunteers where we have whole genome sequencing information. So any researchers can contact us if they are interested in recalling participants by phenotype and or genotype, to request input if they would like access to our stored samples or to any of the data that we've already collected. So the application process is pretty straightforward. If you're interested, you would complete either a research study application or a data access application form, depending on what you require. These applications are then evaluated by our steering committee, which is composed of representatives of our key stakeholders, including patient groups. We would have contracts in place for industry partners, for example, material transfer agreements, should that be relevant. And our costings work on a cost recovery basis, but are free for academics. So when considering these applications, the steering committee looks at the scientific and statistical justification. What are your requirements? Basically, can we provide what you need? What is the benefit to patients? And of course, in most cases, that will be a potential future benefit, but also the burden. What are you asking of the volunteers? And is that feasible and reasonable? So a bit more info on the application process, but just because I really don't want the first one to be where the bell rings, I'm just going to skip to the last slide with the contact details. So if any of you are interested, if you are interested in recalling patients, in using us, in having any questions, please do contact us. We do have a stall at the right end of the next hall. My colleague Tasmin is there. Unfortunately, I have to dash off straight after the session, but our contact details are there. Please do contact us with any questions. We're happy to help.